Now enough with the government.
Let's move on to our new segment with Mr. Johnny Lim in our story about coming to America, interviewed by Rachel Yu.
Thank you, Jerry and Andrew, for that wonderful introduction. And now, please welcome our one and only guest, Mr. Johnny Lim.
Thank you, everyone. I'm happy to be here.
So, Mr. Johnny Lim, where did you come from? And what events led to you coming to America?
I was born in Manila, Philippines. And your next question was, what are the events, right?
Yeah.
So during that time, when I left the Philippines, I believe it was 1986. The Philippines was having a revolution. It's a people power revolution, wherein a lot of people are getting tired of the dictator Ferdinand Marcos. I think everybody heard about Ferdinand Marcos, and he's been in power for, I don't know, for maybe 15 years or 20 years. And at that time, my parents were worried that because we're in the Philippines, I might get drafted at that time. I was already 21, so they were worried that I might get drafted into a war that we have no say. So they decided to send me out, and that's when I as well decided that I should come to America.
You said you came from Manila, Philippines.
Right.
So, how was it different there compared to America? And what were the hardships you faced upon coming to America?
Those are tough questions. There's a lot of similarities between Manila, Philippines and San Francisco, California. And there's a lot of differences as well. To all you students of history, the Philippines was occupied by the United States for, I think it was between 50 and 100 years. I can't remember the history, but it's between 50 and 100 years. So in Manila, education-wise, in higher education, everything is taught in English. There is a subject for the local dialect, which is Filipino, but most of the higher education, law, medicine, mathematics, they're all taught in English. So English was a comfortable language for me. Aside from that, in Manila, differences are, of course, Manila, Philippines is actually a third world nation. There's 100 million people in Manila, in the Philippines, 12 million people in Manila itself. San Francisco is only 1 million people. And the whole United States is 300 million people. So, again, Philippines is a third world country, and cultural-wise, family is a big thing in the Philippines. In the US, it's more of a nuclear family. In the Philippines, it's more of extended family. So you have cousins, third cousins, fifth cousins, basically all of them. So hardships upon arriving, I would say because of the education that I had in the Philippines, not so much. I speak English. I speak 3 different languages. English I'm comfortable with. I came to the United States and went back to school. I took my master's in accounting here in San Francisco. So when it comes to hardships, I think I was okay. I know some immigrants have a lot more harder lifestyle when they got here. I was okay. I was comfortable from my perspective. It's just that finding work upon arrival is very difficult. I think that happens to everyone. I think back then was $4.50 was the minimum wage. I think now it's in San Francisco it's like 15.
Yeah.
Yeah, $15. So back then, at 1986, $4.50. So I worked for an ice cream parlor. I think it's still in existence right now in San Francisco. Pollyann. I worked there for 6 months. And after that, I went to work for a coffee shop. It's not Starbucks. We didn't have Starbucks back then. So there's a lot of these menial jobs at first. I think everybody will have to go through that. And then eventually, of course, after you get your education, that's why education is very important. That's when you get your real jobs. I worked for an accounting company, and from there, I was able to improve my life.
Thank you, Mr. Johnny Lim.
And that concludes our broadcast for today.
Stay tuned for next week when Rachel interviews Sam the dog in a new segment, Out of the Dog Shelter.